Alright guys, I hope the audio is good here today. I'm not using my microphone, I'm using the webcam's mic. So I better get started right away because my babies are taking a nap and that's about 30 minutes usually, sometimes an hour. The main subject today is about not having a contractor's license because it's one of the biggest questions I always get. And I'm actually going to be testing for mine this week, maybe next week. I just need to pick a day basically. I've got all the books and I'll be testing soon. So I went and asked a bunch of questions. I ended up getting hooked up with an investigator, and they kind of know the most about what is or isn't legal for you to do. A lot of the other people don't know. They're just in charge of permitting or whatever. So basically my question to the investigator was about what we're allowed to do as handymen who are unlicensed versus when we become contractors. And the reason I asked is because when I get my contractor's license, there's a stipulation that says all electrical and plumbing must be subbed out to licensed plumbers and electricians. And my understanding before was there was a certain amount of work, electrical and plumbing, that I was allowed to do. And I was worried that by getting my license, there would now be work that I used to be allowed to do as a handyman without a license that I'm now going to have to contract out. So here's the answer to what I got, and I really wish I would have called these guys a long time ago and asked them, because I did online research, and I came up with a lot of answers, but what I noticed online is you get a lot of conflicting answers. You're going to have some guys say you can do anything you want to do in Arizona under $1,000. You're going to have some guys say if it's plumbing or electrical, period, end of story. If it has water or electricity attached to it, then you can't touch it anywhere along the lines. Other guys will say if you have to disconnect service to the house, then you can't do it. And other guys will say if you have to disconnect service at, say, a shutoff valve or a circuit breaker, then you can't do it. So here's what I found out. This is only for Arizona. This is not for anywhere else. I'm not making any claims about any other states. But in Arizona, there's two things you have to look for. Number one, without a license as a handyman, it's got to be under $1,000, and I've been pretty clear on this for quite a while. That's just a given. However, the other stipulation is if you have to have a permit for it, then you can't do it as a handyman. Under $1,000 or not, if you don't have a license, you can't do work that requires a permit. If it doesn't require a permit, you can do it. So that actually means I've been doing fewer jobs than what I'm allowed to do rather than more, because I often assumed in the past that you couldn't go anywhere past, like, say, a shutoff valve for a faucet. So in the past, my understanding was with a faucet, I can change the faucet, I can change the sink basin itself, I can change the shutoff or the supply lines or the drain lines, or at most a shutoff valve, and even that was iffy. Now what I find out is you can do a lot more than that if it doesn't require a permit. So let's take electrical, for example. If you want to move an outlet on a wall from one location to another, you have to have a permit to do that because you're going to be running new wire and you're going to be moving the existing outlet. That requires a permit. Running a new leg from the circuit breaker panel obviously requires a permit. However, changing an outlet doesn't require a permit. Same thing with plumbing. Let's say somebody has copper plumbing and they've got a pinhole leak coming out of one of their copper pipes inside the wall. You don't need a permit to open the wall. You don't need a permit to close the wall if it's just all existing stuff. So if all you do is open up a wall and repair that copper plumbing right there, and here where I'm at, that doesn't require a permit. So that would mean I could do that, and I verified this with an actual investigator from the Arizona Registrar of Contractors. And he verified that, yes, so here's what you need to do. If you want to know what you can or can't do, go to your city's page, your county's page, your state's page, or any other municipalities that you guys may break down in your state, and just make yourself a list of things that you have to have a permit for. In Arizona, if it's under $1,000 and it doesn't require a permit, guess what? You can do it. So that's a big, big, big question answered. I hope that helps y'all a lot. That's the main reason. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. I don't know if I just disappeared or not. Apparently I may have to move my mouse a lot because my screen just tried to go blank. So there you go. You can actually do a whole lot in Arizona. I think California is like $500, and they may have other stipulations. But my advice is call your registrar of contractors and actually just ask them, you know, and see if you can speak to an investigator, because they're the ones who will know. So the next thing we're going to do is a big Q&A. What I've done is I've gone and copied and pasted and printed a whole lot of questions from the comments on this channel so I can get a bunch of them answered. Now, before I do that, we're going to go into something super cool. I'm not saying I'm moving for good or not, but I'm going over to Twitter. I like Twitter. I like the lack of censorship. I don't like YouTube. There's 1,000 things I don't like about YouTube. First and foremost being the very little bit of money that I can get out of this channel. They take just about all of it, and I'm sick of that. But also the censorship and whatnot. So what I'm going to have to offer, if y'all want to go over to Twitter, is I have this jobs list that it's the jobs list with pricing that I've always given everybody who becomes a member here on YouTube. But that was, I don't even remember how much it is, 20 or 50 bucks or something. So here's what we're going to do. For those of y'all that go over to Twitter and find me and follow me, after you follow me, send me a direct message on Twitter, and I will send you the list for free. It's not going to have the pricing because there has to be something that my people who are joining and paying membership fees are getting out of that they wouldn't get otherwise. But the list itself I'll send you, and the purpose for this list is, number one, most importantly for most of y'all who are starting out, if that's why you're watching here, is when you go try to get on with a property manager, they want to know what you can do, like what skills you have, what jobs they can send you. So use this list. It's basically a list of, I know there's stuff missing for sure, but it's essentially a list of just about every single job you could ever possibly expect to get. It's all the jobs essentially that have been requested of me in the last 2.5 years running this business, plus a bunch of jobs that haven't been requested of me. But what you do is you can take this list and just go through it and figure out which items on that list you know how to do and which ones you don't know how to do. Then you can make your own list that you can send your property managers to say, hey, here's a list of what I can and can't do. Now, my main list, my biggest list, it doesn't have all the pricing, but it also has a lot of pricing, because one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to come up with standardized pricing, mostly for move-outs. But you can start with my list, make your own list, and start adding your pricing values to that as well. So on Twitter, you're looking for Bulletproof Handyman, or you're looking for Handyman Hangout. I don't know which one of those is like a username or a screen name, or there's a million names for every type of name. I don't know. But if you go search for Bulletproof Handyman, you should find me. And if you go search for Handyman Hangout, you should find me. Follow me, and then just send me a direct message. You don't have to pay anything at all. Just follow me and send me a direct message, and I will send you the full list. Also, I plan on doing a lot more of my communicating there, because I'm actually on Twitter on a daily basis. There's too many things that are honestly unrelated to this channel that I care about, that I follow, that I keep up with. So I'm on Twitter quite a bit. And what I want to start doing is, you guys, anytime you have a question, and I mean literally, if you're on a job and you're just messaging me saying, hey, I can't figure out how to get the cage over the light bulb off in the back of this oven that I'm working on, shoot me a DM. And if I can, I'll reply back to you right away. If you have questions about how to start and run your business, shoot me a DM over there, and I'll try to reply back right away. And my long-term goal is I'm going to be trying to get this channel migrated over to Twitter, so that eventually what YouTube becomes is, let's say I post a video on Twitter, which, by the way, I just posted one there last night as a test. So the idea is, I think in the future at some point, my videos are going to come out on Twitter for my subscribers on Twitter. And right now there's no subscription. Right now it's all just open and free. But eventually I'll have some sort of subscription model, probably for $4 or $5 a month. And that's where all my stuff will be. And then I'll also post stuff that doesn't require subscription. But there's going to be no more of this YouTube stuff over here where you have to pay like $50 a month. I end up seeing like 18 of it or something. and it's just silly. So hopefully I didn't disappear again because my computer, I'm going to have to just keep moving this mouse constantly. So there you go. Go to Twitter. I'm going to be migrating over there eventually. YouTube will always probably stay here for me, but it's just not going to be my main place ultimately. And if you're subscribing to me, if you've joined on YouTube right now, do yourself a favor, cancel your membership. Honestly, I don't want the money coming through YouTube to get to me, and you don't have to pay any money over on Twitter, at least not yet. So yeah, cancel your membership, don't join, go over to Twitter, follow me, ask me any questions you want, ask me for my jobs list. I'll get that all sent out. So let's start with some Q&A. Been looking through your videos, but can't find anything on what forms of payment a new handyman should take. CC versus checks versus cash versus transfers. Yeah, I take it however they want to supply it. Honestly, I mean, there are ways where you could lose anywhere from 2 to 5% depending on what they're paying you through. But the truth is, if you want to keep your clients happy, now I would suggest not using a form of payment where you're losing 4% of every payment if it's through a big client like a property manager. But they're all going to be paying you. They'll all have the option of either check or direct deposit. And some don't do direct deposit, the smaller ones, but honestly, the smaller ones are even better to work for. So I would just drive by the damn office and pick up a check. But most of them will pay you via check or direct deposit. Everybody else, yeah, if somebody wants to pay me with Zelle or whatever, I don't even know the names of all of them, but take the money however they feel like giving it to you. You want to make it easy for them to pay you. Jose Ramos, thank you for being very informative. My question is not the scheduling, sorry. Do you have a video on how to be assertive with a rental fee charge on top of your regular pay rate on specific or specialized machines that you own? Example, power washer you used from your own tools. Regular employee at a MT maintenance, I assume. Regular employee as an MT tech, and how should it be priced? I don't charge people. I mean, it's all worked into my pricing. If I have to invest in new tools, of course, that's part of business, so I work that into the pricing. But I wouldn't be charging anybody any rental fee unless I needed to go rent like a man lift for a lot of money or a giant concrete mixer or something like that. I may pass that cost on if I literally have to go to Home Depot and rent something expensive. But even then, honestly, I mean, if I'm renting a tool for $200, that's got to be because it's a job that's for a few $1,000s, and we can't do that because that would go over $1,000. So, but yeah, if I was going over $1,000 and I was renting a $200 tool, it would just be a $1,200 job. That they wouldn't know where the money was going towards. Now, like I said, if I needed to rent something huge like a tractor, then yeah, they're going to be paying for that, and they'll just understand because I'll say, hey, I don't own tractors, so you're going to have to pay $250 for me to rent this one for the day. But otherwise, no, that feels like nickel and diming. People just, especially property managers, which is what this channel's for, they just want to know what it's going to cost to get the job done, and you just give them a number and you get the job done. And don't bother with trying to break down a bunch of costs for rentals. Just work it into the price. Larry Thomas. Hello, I'm a handyman in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm now using Jobber. I have a question. How do I plan and look at a map of all my jobs without scheduling them? So a lot of y'all know I use Jobber to run my business. I can't do the split screen right now, unfortunately, because I just got a new computer. So hopefully that means this one's working better too, by the way, because it used to cut out a lot. So how do I look at a map of all my jobs? So here's what I do, Larry. So on Jobber, as I schedule my jobs, you can schedule it when you create the job. You put in a schedule. So you can click a button that says schedule later, or you can click buttons to open calendars and actually pick your date and time. All of my unscheduled jobs, I click on schedule later. Now, something I used to do is I'd pick like the last day of each month. So in March, I would put them all on March 30th, all my unscheduled jobs. And then when I scheduled them, I would change it from March 30th. But now what I do, because they didn't update, is I just put in there unscheduled for the job. Schedule later, rather, is the button you click. So look for the button schedule later when you're creating the job. Once the job's created, all of your unscheduled jobs can be seen by going to the The name of the tab is Schedule. It's the Schedule tab. So click on the Schedule tab, and then you're going to have a drop-down menu where you can say if you want it to show you a list or a map or the week or the day or any number of different things. So what you want to do is you want to click Map, and then you can go to Filter, and when you can filter by your username. You can tell it if you want to see unscheduled jobs or just scheduled jobs or different types of jobs. So that's what you do. Number 1, create the job and click Schedule Later while you're creating the job. Number 2, go to the Schedule tab and just start clicking on those menu items at the top. They'll give you drop downs. Look for the one that has Map at the bottom, and you're going to, I think it says like day, week, month, list, map, something like that. Click on Map. It'll bring the map up. If you don't see your jobs, then you need to go to Filter, and on Filter you need to tell it to show you unscheduled jobs. Alright, Loki Doki's Metal Junkie Adventures. Subbed, trying to start this on my own now. Are property managers and landlords one of the best clients to have? I assume so, but wasn't sure. Also, do I just contact them and ask if they need someone? So yeah, a couple questions and a couple answers here. Are they the best clients to have? Not necessarily. People are people. So there's, for every job in the world that you can find, there's going to be shitty people and there's going to be good people. What I like about property managers is they're a recurring customer. So let's say you go find yourself 4 new property managers. I'm not telling you that those 4 property managers are going to be better than 4 random homeowners. What I'm saying with this channel is, number 1, it is slightly more likely. It's not that they're going to be better, but they're more likely to be better because a property manager's in a position where they've needed handymen nonstop for the entirety of the amount of time that they've been a property manager. And they've dealt with shit handymen nonstop. Everyone will tell you, you just can't find a good handyman. They all start out okay, and then jobs start coming back that were done incorrectly, and they're starting to get things done later. They're starting to get lower quality, and they just can't find a reliable handyman to save their life. So they're familiar with, they're appreciative of having a good one, I guess is what I'm saying. So when you go find them, they know what to look for, and they're going to appreciate if you just simply take the work and get the work done. Now, really what I like about property managers as opposed to homeowners is if you're working for homeowners, yes, you can have recurring jobs. Of course, homeowners can call you back. But a property manager, one that has a decent number of houses, if you're her main handyman, you're probably going to get about a job a day from an individual property manager. And if it's a small company, it's a job every 3 days. If it's a bigger company, it's 2 a day. But my point is, you're going to get a lot of work from them. So instead of vetting, let's say you work for a different homeowner every day, you have to vet that many homeowners. So if you go for 6 months, you have to do 6 times 3 is 8 to 100, so 180 homeowners to vet. 180 of them, some of them are going to be shit. Some of them are not going to want to pay you. Some of them are going to have issues. Some of them are going to nickel and dime you. Some of them are going to ask you to do some free shit because they paid you good money and you're done and it was really quick. So they think you should just go move some boxes out of their shed for them too. That kind of shit happens all the time with homeowners. With property managers, there are shit ones, but once you've vetted them and established a relationship and you all have a working business rapport where they send jobs and you send invoices, you don't have to vet them anymore. They're yours. And as long as you keep doing your job right, they're going to stay yours. And it takes that entire vetting process out of the number of things that are on your plate on a daily basis. And then finally, also, do I just contact them and ask if they need someone? So I'm going to use this to prompt you all over to my Twitter page again. I just did a video that has a little bit to do with this on my Twitter page, Bulletproof Handyman or Handyman Hangout. Now also, if you go look through these YouTube videos, you'll find that I did do a YouTube video literally specializing in how to acquire property managers. However, the Twitter one that I posted, it's a very short one, but I remembered something last night that I couldn't believe I didn't tell y'all about that yet. That's going to really increase your odds of getting that property manager, or at least increase the odds that they're going to view you as a professional. Next. 𝗍𝗂𝗃 said, great info, love what you do, been a handyman since 2015 in Hawaii and never got around to making my own list. I cannot for the life of me find the button or whatever to become a member and get a hold of you. Okay, yeah, so don't become a member. Just go over to Twitter and DM me and you'll get the jobs list. So if you really want to become a member so that you get the jobs list with pricing, then go ahead and become a member. But that seems silly. So honestly, just go over to Twitter and DM me. I'll send you the list, man. I don't like all the money that YouTube takes. It's getting silly. Have you stopped doing videos and live streams? It makes sense if you're too busy, but I figure it's worth saying they are appreciated. Yes, it's not that I've stopped, but I get this question frequently because this business is a roller coaster. And what'll happen is I'll get a little bit of free time and I'll do some videos, maybe over a week or two. I'll be less busy, and then shit just hits the fan again, and I've got more jobs than I can possibly handle, and I'm getting rid of handymen who aren't doing their job right, and I'm trying to find new handymen, plus I'm trying to get the work done, plus I'm trying to find another property manager if I happen to have too many handymen all at once. So yeah, I've been busy, and like I was saying, I'm going over to Twitter, and I'm actually on Twitter on a daily basis, kind of on and off throughout the day. So I anticipate what I'm going to, and it's also way easier to upload videos there, just insanely easier. So I'm going to start uploading videos on Twitter, and they're going to be shorter ones instead of longer, well thought out ones like this. It's going to be every time I notice something that I should let y'all know, I'm just going to tweet it out real quick. And then I'm probably going to end up doing Twitter Spaces, which is like a live stream, except I can talk to y'all. If you're on there, you can be inside the Twitter room that we're in, and I'm the host. I can click on you, and you can actually ask me questions with your voice, not typing them in the comments, and I can answer back. And then when we're done, I can turn yours off and turn the next guy's mic on, and we can actually have a real interaction here. And you can have multiple people at once, too. I don't want multiple people at once. But yeah, if everybody's in the room listening, one by one, you literally can like raise your hand in the room somehow, and I'll be able to click on you. So I'm going to start doing that because there are times when I just have 30 minutes to burn between jobs, and I'm just going to start doing Twitter Spaces and stuff. So yeah, that's the answer to that. Just go to Twitter. I don't want y'all paying for a membership here anymore. Oh, there we go. JDP. Thank you once again for your videos. You give us all a big boost of confidence that we can do this and be the best at it. You should continue doing this now as part-time thing without leaving behind your hands on things, but you definitely got the talent to motivate your audience. No, I agree. I'm surprised how much I enjoy this because I don't like public attention, but y'all aren't here looking at me. So it doesn't bother me so much, but I do love sharing information. I'm one of those guys I'm probably Asperger's. I was the kid in the middle of math class raising his hand to just tell the teacher something cool I learned about dinosaurs. I like sharing with people a lot, and I like, this, like she said, thank you once again, you're a big boost of confidence. I actually thrive on hearing that. A lot of y'all message me a lot and just tell me that, some of you specifically, that you've gone from charging $40 an hour to $85 an hour, and it's changed your life and your family is better provided for. And I just love that. So I really do. So yeah, I would like to do that. It's going to take a long time before this social media thing, being a creator, would pay me enough to be able to take like just one day a week off even. It's hard for it to pay me anything now. And like I said, YouTube keeps way too much of it. I'm moving over to Twitter, and maybe something will happen fast there. Maybe it won't. I'm going to try to keep doing these videos, but like I said, at least on Twitter, I'm going to do a lot more shorter videos, but I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Colin W. Morgan, I live in a relatively small city in Gadsden, Alabama. I've been charging an hourly rate of $75 an hour. That's not bad for a small city in Alabama, dude. That's pretty good. But have moved to bids only. That way people don't ask because I'm very quick, so the price is always reasonable in what I've seen with my previous bosses charge for my labor. My question is, how far away do you recommend vetting property managers? I could try to work for companies in Huntsville which is a way bigger city with tons of money, but it's 1 to 1.5 hours away. I feel like that's really doable, actually, 1 to 1.5 hours away. And that's easy for me to say because I don't have to drive that every day. But the truth is, you know, and I don't know if you're married and have kids. I don't know what kind of schedule you have, what kind of schedule you need. But if you can do, let's say, 12-hour days, but only 4 days a week, like a 4-on-3-off type of schedule, that 12-hour day, you know, if you're making about $100 an hour, and let's say you spend 3 total hours round trip, which you probably won't have to because you'll probably just set your first job to be that nearest job. So within an hour you're working, and then at the end of the day, you've got an hour and a half home. But call it 3 hours out of that 12 is gone. If you're at $100 an hour, that still leaves you 9 hours of billable time. So that's 27 hours of billable time in 3 days, 36. Yeah, so you can get 36 hours billing at $100 an hour over the course of 4 days. So you've essentially worked an entire work week. And then when you get your 3 days off, you use one of those days to do admin work and just catch up on all of that and create your new jobs and do all your scheduling. You'll need a full day, like a long, shitty day in front of your computer for that. But then you have 2 days off, so it's like you have a whole weekend, and it's going to be long days, but I think that's doable. And I've told y'all before, some of y'all probably think this is silly, but when I can get a Cybertruck, I'm going to get a Cybertruck, because when full self-driving is like turned on and legal, like the kind where you don't even have to hold the wheel or pay attention, I'm going to be turning my seat to the side with a little desk laptop thing over here, and I'm going to be doing my scheduling, my admin work and all that in the truck in between jobs as the truck is driving me from job to job. And it's a huge truck and the numbers are right on it. So, you know, that'd be even better if you were driving that far. You may have to do lunch at a supercharger to get some more miles back on the thing. But then that entire hour of driving there can be productive. Christopher Dixon, man, I want to pick your brain. Started a handyman business and I have a property management company with 900 properties wanting me to be a vendor for them and got a bunch of questions. So Christopher, you can email me through this YouTube page. You can also go over to Twitter and DM me, but I'm all about y'all picking my brain and asking questions. Y'all really don't do it enough. I'm surprised I'm not inundated. But, you know, I don't get on here and do the comments very often, but that's because I need to come home and get on my PC and do that. And I'm usually busy with actual work at that point. But yeah, especially if y'all just go to Twitter and DM me, I'm happy to answer any questions you want, just person to person over Twitter. I don't need to have it be content for me to want to answer it. Just between you and me, you can just message me. Let's see. Oh, yeah, so let me go back. Yeah, I got a bunch of questions. Okay, so Christopher Dixon, I have a property management company wanting me to be a vendor. She asked if I had a price list. How do I get the price list? Okay, same answer. Go to Twitter, DM me, and ask for the list, and I'll send you the list. Stephen Meyer, what if questions? What if you get injured? What if you have an illness? How do you take a vacation? That's a good question, and the answer is when you work for yourself and you run your own business, life changes, and part of the answer is you're screwed, you know, if a lot of those things happen. But another part is I have health insurance. I'm paying, even with what the government helps me with, like through the healthcare marketplace. When you go sign up there, you tell it how much you make and stuff, and it says you get a subsidy of whatever it is that I get. So even after the subsidy, I'm paying $1,100 a month for health insurance, and I have to work hard to get that money. However, I was previously paying $1,600, so $1,100 doesn't sound so bad. But I have temporary disability, long-term disability, accidental death and dismemberment. I have life insurance, vision, hearing, and all the regular health insurance. And between all of that, now, yeah, you can't take vacations using temporary disability or anything like that. However, you just have to plan ahead, man. You know, I just took my wife. It was the first time, I swear to God, in 2.5 years, probably more, but I know for sure. Oh, no. No, we took the babies on that. So my wife and I have not been able to get away together for a night, to go anywhere. Not once in 2.5 years. I just took her to 𝗨𝗨, Arizona, which is near Pine Top and all of that. It's up in the White Mountains. We had a beautiful time. We rented a cabin. And you know what? That trip cost well over $1,000 to go for one night because we don't go often. And I had to miss 2 days of work to make it happen, which cost me, I figure, about $600 a day when I take a day off work. You just have to plan ahead and understand that you're in charge of everything now, so it's your responsibility to provide to yourself enough time off and whatnot. But that's part of just growing a business, is you don't always get all those things anymore. How do you get to work on plumbing and electrical without a license? That's actually one of the many examples of the most common question I get, and I answered it at the beginning, which is if it doesn't require a permit in Arizona, if it doesn't require a permit and it's under $1,000, then you can do it without a license. If it's over $1,000, you can't do it. If it requires a permit and it's under $1,000 but requires a permit, you can do it. But everything else you can do if it doesn't require a permit and it's under $1,000. That's the answer to how do you get to work on plumbing and electrical without a license. Now this question I don't understand. I printed it up because I just want to reiterate some things. Randy Huff said, so contractors are perfect? I fix things that contractors have done before. So what? Everyone can make mistakes. I don't really quite understand what he's saying because I've definitely never implied that contractors are perfect. And I can also see where he may have been sarcastic and maybe thought that I said contractors suck, which I also don't think. I feel like I've been super clear on this channel if you've watched very many videos at all. For example, I'm about to have my contractor's license even sooner now. Like I said, I've got the books, I've got one practice test done, and I'm going to do fine. And I just need to literally schedule. In fact, here in Arizona, if y'all are in Arizona and you don't know, you do it all online now. You don't even have to go to a testing center. So you can order your books, do the tests online. You do have to have a webcam so they can make sure you're not cheating and stuff. You submit it all online. You don't ever have to go to anyone's office or any school. But yeah, I feel like I've been really clear, and I've even said, like, I'm going to have my contractor's license soon, and I'm not going to be any better at my job the day after I get it. If I was a piece of shit before I got my license, I'll be a piece of shit after. And if I was very anal and a perfectionist and did the most amazing work in the world, which is not me, by the way, but if I was that guy, after my contractor's license, I'm not going to get worse either, and I'm not going to get better. It's a piece of paper that just makes it legal for you to do certain types of work. So no, I don't hold the opinion that contractors are perfect or that contractors suck. People are just people. We're all people, and some of us are great and some of us are not. Lawrence Jones. Wow, wow, wow. You moved from complacency to action. I am a service writer for a dealership and have been looking for a way out as a licensed home inspector. I occasionally am asked if I can perform certain repairs, which I have done. After listening to your entire story, I'm motivated that I can step out and make a difference for my family also. One question, you mentioned business license. How crucial is that for a startup, and how do you get it? So, I mean, if you're going to do some stuff for your aunt and uncle, and let's say you want to be legal, so they're going to pay you like with a 1099 because it's going to be over $600, and I think that's like the minimum now that you have to have it for. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying you can go do some work for some people without a business license as long as you're claiming that money you made on your taxes. But you can't start operating as a business without getting a business license. That's bad, and that line of thinking is going to hurt you in this business. So what I feel like you should do, if you really want to do this, do a little bit of side work for friends and family. That's perfectly fine if you want to make some extra money. Claim that on your taxes. You don't want the IRS on your ass for any reason ever. But then when you're ready to make it a business and reach out to property managers, in fact, if you want to get on with most property managers, you will need a business license. You'll need insurance. You'll need it all. So my advice, rather than me trying to go through the whole spiel about every step involved along the way to make all this legal, my advice is that you go find yourself an accountant, like from Liberty Tax or whatever. Just get an accountant, a local accountant who has an office that you can sit down with, most accountants who are accountants for businesses, they've done this all before for other people. They know all the steps. You got to get your not trademark, but you have to register your name with the Corporation Commission. You have to file for your LLC. You have to file for a city business license. Some places a county business license, a state business license. You have to get your EIN from the IRS. You can do it all yourself. I don't suggest you do. My accountant, when I finally got one, had to go refile a bunch of my stuff because I didn't file it correctly. And I'm a pretty smart guy. But there was just some options I had picked on a few things that it turns out were not the best options for me keeping most of my money. So just get yourself an accountant. It'll probably cost you, at the cheapest, I'm guessing $300, but really I'm going to say $600 to $1,500, depending on how good the accountant is and how much they cost. But yeah, just get an accountant and have them set you up, man, because what you want to do is when you approach a property management company or an individual property manager, you want to be able to give her all your stuff. You just want this giant package that's much neater and cleaner than all of this. And you just want to be able to hand over and say, hey, here's everything. Here's my W-9, here's 1099, here's my business license for the state, the county, and the city. Here's my business insurance. Here's my bonding. Here's all of my stuff. And you want to come off as a professional who knows what they're doing. They're not excited about new guys because the only good thing about a new guy is he's cheap because he doesn't know what he should charge yet. But that only lasts so long, and they know that as well. So, yeah, just start things the right way. RM said, very informative. One question, do you still charge the trip fee do you still charge the trip fee for, let's say, an estimate if you find out once you get to the job that it ends up being out of the scope of knowledge that you can do and you tell the person that you have to pass on the job? So, number one, I never charge any kind of fee at all if I'm asked to fix a problem and I can't fix the problem. I don't care if I put 8 hours into it and couldn't fix it. If I didn't fix the problem you sent me, then I don't charge anything, and that's just my own personal policy. As far as anything else, though, I mean, I still charge my trip fee whether it's a 5-minute job or an hour-long job. But yes, I don't charge trip fees if the situation is that I didn't fix the problem or I can't fix the problem. Carpe diem. Oh, getting to the end of the questions here soon. Great video. Is it better to work with property management companies because it seems like they would just be yet another difficult boss, or be good at marketing and work directly for homeowners? Yeah, I try to be super clear on this channel. I'm just not a fan of homeowners. It's not that they all suck and it's not that they're all great. It's that when you have to vet over and over and over, it's easier to vet 10 property managers per year than it is to vet 128 homeowners per year. It's just far, far, far easier. And like I said, property managers, they're not spending their own money, and this is business to business, and they just want you to solve a problem. So if you successfully solve the problem, they're happy to pay you. They're not going to look at your texture match on the wall and come at it from different angles and see if, did you use satin paint instead of semi-gloss, because I can kind of see a difference in the sheen. Don't get me wrong, you need to learn your paints and you need to not let that happen. But my point is, property managers aren't going to nitpick your work to death. What they want to know is the house functional? Was it done correctly? Does it look fine? Can I still keep renting this property? That's really all they care about. And they want the tenants to be happy because they don't want their time wasted with phone calls from unhappy tenants. Your job is to take it all off their plate so that they receive a work order request from a tenant and they just forward it right on to you, and then a week later they get an invoice, and they just wash their hands of it and walk away. They don't want to deal with any of that. And that's your job, is to make their lives that easy. So keep the tenants happy, do good quality work, not luxury work, not slum work, just good, solid, this thing is fixed and it ain't going to break again soon kind of work. So Eric Cable, California ... How many of you handyman can prove, oh, this is going to be a fun one. I love these. How many of you quote unquote handyman can prove hours working, tax to income Apprentice 2,000 hours times 4 years, 8,000 hours taxed and 8,000 hours journeyman. Now you get a license to work. Okay, I see most of you left the room here. So you can only charge that shit rate of $500 per trip. If you go over, you are breaking the law. Also, PM companies are required you carry license and insurance. All right, so somebody went through the system and put in a lot of time, and he's angry that you and me get to go out there and fix shit without paying the same dues he's paid. And as he points out, we also can't charge as much money as he charges, because that's how life works. You can charge more after you get licensed. It sounds like he's angry, so I'm sorry that you're angry, Eric, but the truth is we can do exactly what we're doing, and our value is what we're charging for most of us. Some of us aren't charging enough, and it sounds like your value's more because you think that $500 per trip is a shit rate, so congratulations. I'm happy for you. Dawson Branham. Hey, I've just started my handyman business. I have, as an LLC, I have insurance as well. I'm located in Kansas. I've emailed many property managements in my location, and they have all denied and said they have seasonal handymen that only charge $30 an hour. I'm worried that I will not find business. Any suggestions? I don't see where you're at in Kansas, so first of all, I would expect this in small towns, that there's going to be handymen who are charging rates very similar to that, because typically small towns are blue-collar towns. Blue-collar towns have real men. Real men know how to use tools and fix shit, and when you have a town full of real men who know how to use tools and fix shit, you have a lot of competition. So that means between supply and demand, the demand for handymen is much lower than the supply. The supply is every grown man in town, and the demand is 5 houses that need to be worked on. So you may have to go to a bigger city, unfortunately. However, if you feel like you're in a bigger city where you should be able to get these rates, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of advice. Number one is I'm going to suggest, and I know this sounds silly, but I've done it, and it has already made a difference. Go online to ChatGPT. It's like chat.openai.com or .something. Use ChatGPT to write your introduction letter. You're going to send them an email or maybe even a typed letter or whatever. Start utilizing ChatGPT to help you with that. You can literally type out whatever you want to type out, say whatever you want to say, and then what you can do once you've got it all typed into ChatGPT, what you're going to say is you can say, now please rewrite this from the perspective of a business owner who owns a handyman business that services property management. Give it as much information as you want and just ask ChatGPT to rewrite what you've written in a more professional manner. And it's going to write some really nice stuff. I mean, really top-notch stuff. And you need to read it and review it. Don't just send it. Edit what it writes as well. But yeah, I'm going to say number one, use that. Number two is have all your information together. Let them know. Was I just, oh, y'all can't see my finger down there. I was just flipping y'all off accidentally. Number two, have all your paperwork in order. Have your LLC, have your W-9 or 1099, have your insurance, have your bonding, have all of your paperwork all together. And number three, have a list of all the jobs you can do, and even better if you can attach some kind of pricing structure to that. And if you want that list, like I said, go over to Twitter, look for Bulletproof Handyman or Handyman Hangout, and follow me and send me a direct message. And for free, anyone who sends me that direct message and follows me, I'm going to send you that list. It's not going to have the pricing. You're going to have to figure out your own pricing. And that changes area by area, and that changes depending on your skill level. But go to Twitter, and I will send you that list, because then you can literally provide them with an organized list, top to bottom, of here's the electrical jobs I can do, here's the plumbing jobs I can do, here's the roofing jobs I can do, and have that whole package ready and available. If you're emailing, send that whole package in digital format. In fact, call up your insurance agent and say, hey, can you get such and such property management company? I need you to get me a certificate that says they're additionally insured on my insurance program. And that shouldn't cost you anything with most insurance companies. They'll print as many of those up as you want. And if you want to email to 20 different companies, you can literally send them not just proof of insurance, but have them additionally covered under your insurance as well. Yeah, so do that. You want to come across as they're scared. They're always scared because they always find shit handymen. Even when they think they found a good one, they find out pretty quickly that he's also shit. So do everything you can to get them convinced right off the bat that you're not a piece of shit, and then follow through. Don't be a piece of shit. Show up on time, be professional, etc., etc. I've gone over this a million times. All they're looking for, like all you need to succeed in this industry is to just be professional. You just have to do what you said you're going to do and keep doing that over and over. Show up on time, do the job right, don't hack things. You don't need to drop your prices. You just need to be reliable. So, Clayton Allison, I was waiting to hear it, but I didn't. Okay, I don't understand the way this is typed. Okay, so this guy's asking, what do you do if you show up to a job and the people aren't there? Like you scheduled an appointment and they're not there. I charge a missed trip fee. It's $125 if I show up for a scheduled appointment and you're not there. Now, I do make sure all the scheduling is done via text, or if it's done over the phone, confirmed via text. So I have proof that you did agree for me to do the job at a certain time. I give a 1 hour arrival window, so I'll say between 12 and 1 is when I'll arrive. And I can arrive at, let's say, 12:59. I'm within my window. If I arrive at 1:01, I don't charge a trip fee because I didn't follow through on my end. But as long as you have proof, you should be able to charge a missed trip fee. But that is something you'll want to talk over with your property managers beforehand, because they're going to pass that on to the tenants. And a lot of companies have their own list of stipulations that if you want to charge a missed trip fee, you have to meet all these particular requirements. But that's what I do. I don't always, though, actually, to tell you the truth. If they're nice people and I feel like they made a mistake, I understand what it's like to make mistakes. People don't, I've missed jobs. It's not common, but when you're trying to do 5 or 6 of them a day for 7 days a week for a few months on end, you're eventually going to double book somebody, or something's going to happen, and you might answer the phone at 9 a.m. and say, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to be done by 3. I can swing by there before 4. And you forget to write it down and you forget to swing by. People are generally very nice to me when I make a mistake like that, and I try to be very nice to them. But there are times when you just have Karens who are just shitty, and they're just annoyed that you want to schedule the job. They're annoyed at the times and days that you have available for the job. You can tell they don't want to be there. They complain a lot. They ask you stupid questions, and then you finally show up and they're not there. Well, guess what, Karen? You're getting a trip fee. Missed trip fee, rather. And last question, how much do you charge for emergency jobs after hours? I charge $250 because my trip fee is $125 and emergency jobs are double my trip fee. Some plumbers and stuff I've seen do 2.5 to 3 times the normal trip fee. I'm happy with 2 because on an emergency after hours job, like if I get called out in the middle of the night during a storm to board up a window that just got broken because something got blown into it, I literally just show up with a board and I get the damn thing attached to the house and I go home. I'm not there more than 20 minutes. If something's flooding, like if a pipe bursts in the kitchen, I don't fix the pipe that night. I charge the $250 to show up, turn the water off to the house, and then leave, and then come back tomorrow and charge a completely separate fee, my normal fee, for just fixing something that's broke. So $250 or double whatever your minimum trip fee is. So guys, please do go find me on Twitter. I'm just getting really fed up with YouTube. I'm not going to remove stuff from YouTube, and I am going to keep posting here. Almost anything I post on Twitter is probably going to be cross-posted here. But my long-term goal is to just get y'all migrated over there, and then eventually YouTube's going to become something where maybe everything I post on Twitter I'll transfer over to YouTube like 2 weeks after I post it. So the incentive to get over to Twitter is going to end up being that you get to see it sooner. But yeah, I like Twitter. They've opened everything up. They've been putting a lot of hard hours in for the last couple months getting this ready. They've got it set up now where they can do long format video. They're really excited about helping creators, and I want to support them, and I don't like supporting YouTube so much. So get over there to Twitter, Bulletproof Handyman or Handyman Hangout, and say hi. Ask me for that jobs list, and I'll send you the jobs list, and hopefully we'll do a lot more from there later. And also go over there and just DM me with any and all questions you have, and I'll use all your questions probably to make new content. But even if I don't, I'm perfectly happy to just back and forth between you and me answer a few questions. So y'all have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.